So there is a person who keeps on drinking, smoking, drugs, wine, women, everything he does. And he was also in jail. He had murdered somebody, he had robbed somebody, he has done all kinds of nonsensical things. So such kind of a person, as a spiritual person, you are not expected to get disturbed by anything. So then what makes you think that you have to be good to one person and hate another person? No. The same feeling has to be there even for the inimicals, whom you don't like, who are your enemies. You can't say, I don't like this fellow, I'm going to kill him, I am going to do this to him. No. You got to have equanimity of mind. There is nothing like, I don't want to do this. No. If you are in spiritual, you have to have the equanimity of mind. And when you have equanimity of mind, Sri Krishna, we are doing Bhagavad Gita chapter 6 verse 9. He who looks upon well-wishers and neutrals as well as mediators, friends and foe, relatives and inimicals, the virtuous and the sinful, with equanimity stand supreme. This is the criteria for almost everybody in this world who wants to be in spiritual. This is where everybody fails. This stage, everybody fails. Because human beings are biased. We are so much attracted towards our own kind. That means my relatives, my children, my body's parents, my body's this, my husband, my wife, those kind of things. So they are always attracted towards this. And some people in life they consider as enemies. My neighbor is a bad person. My mother-in-law is not good. My father-in-law is a bad human being. My boss is horrible. So they have all kinds of negative feelings about people. And they have very positive feelings about some of them. Now both these people are two ends of the spectrum. So in your world you have likes and dislikes. I like this person because he is so good. And I hate this person because he is a nasty human being. He has taken away my property, he has done this to me, he has not given me increment in my salary, he has put me down, he is beating me, he is doing all kinds of things. You understand all these things which we talk about? So human beings are such kind of creatures. What they do is, they categorize people. So here Sri Krishna says, there is a well-wisher in your life, somebody who wishes you well. And there are those who don't wish you well. There are some who are saying, they are very neutral, they don't react or they don't do anything. So somebody is for and somebody is against. So there is one for and one against. And then there is a person who is in the bang in the middle, who says, I don't care, it doesn't matter to me. So whose side you are on, Pakistan or India, USA or China? I don't care. So such kind of a person who doesn't care or who is basically a neutral person, like the neutral country like Switzerland, During the war, Switzerland never took part in the war. They said, we are not interested. The Germans can fight the Britishers and the Americans, doesn't matter to us. We are very neutral, we don't want fight, we don't want to get into it. So they are called neutrals. So he says, person who looks at the well-wishers, the neutrals, and the enemies. There are mediators, somebody who mediates in between. Who is mediating? Now there is a war going on. Now between the war, there is somebody who is a mediator in between. They try to sort out the issues between these two people. That is called a mediator. The friends and the foes. You will have one friend and one foe, whoever. On one side is the friend and one side is the foe. Relatives and inimicals. Relatives means you have your body relatives. Like I said, body relatives are your children, your parents, grandparents, and so on. And then you get married to a family. So you have your husband, husband's mother and father, or wife's mother and father. If you are a man, then you have a wife's mother and father, brothers, sisters, in-laws, outlaws, everybody who is there. You may like them or you may hate them. I don't like my sister-in-law, she is like this. I don't like my brother-in-law, he is a very arrogant person. He is an egoistical person. So you have the likes and the dislikes with people. So he says between this, the virtuous. There are people who are very virtuous people, godly type. And there are some very big villains in this world who want to do everything bad in this world. Who is the bad people? Like Ravanas of this world. Okay? Like Duryodhana of this world. Right? Shishupal. These are the people, I hate them. Some relatives of yours. I don't want that person to call me. I hate that person. He should not come to my house. So you have the inimicals. And these are sinful people because they do all kinds of wrong things. So there is a person who keeps on drinking, smoking, drugs, wine, women, everything he does. And he was also in jail. He had murdered somebody. He had robbed somebody. He has done all kinds of nonsensical things. So such kind of a person. As a spiritual person, you are not expected to get disturbed by anything. So then what makes you think that you have to be good to one person and hate another person? No. The same feeling has to be there even for the inimicals, whom you don't like, who are your enemies. You can't say, I don't like this fellow, I'm going to kill him, I am going to do this to him. No. You got to have equanimity of mind. There is nothing like, I don't want to do this. No. If you are in spiritual, you have to have the equanimity of mind. And when you have equanimity of mind, Sri Krishna says, you stand supreme. You are the highest in the world then. So we go to the next verse then. We are doing Bhagavad Gita chapter 6 verse 10. Living in seclusion all by himself, the yogi who has controlled his mind and body and is free from desires and void of possessions should constantly engage his mind in meditation. Now this is basically for a yogi who wants to separate himself out from the material domain and want to go and become a sannyasi. He wants to go and stay somewhere far away, alone and all that. It is only after he has achieved equanimity can he move. Please understand this. People want to go away. They want to run away because they feel, I hate this world. I don't like this world. I just want to go somewhere. What do you mean by go somewhere? No, you can't go anywhere. Your job is to stay put. You have to practice the equanimity of mind first. The first criteria is that. Why do you get disturbed? Many a times you will find me, I literally put my finger on the nub, because the person gets, oh, he's talking about me. Have you noticed it? It is so common that you immediately start associating He's talking about me. He's pointing out that I have done something like this. You are taking the onus of that. Well, spiritual says you should not be bothered about it. You have to have equanimity of mind. If you come to me anytime and if you are around, you know the one subject which you don't want to talk about, I will put that subject in front of your nose. The reason is because I want to see whether you can overcome it. And that is the reason why I keep on pointing that thing to you. Where it is hurt, I am going to put my finger over there. Why? You can't overcome your mind. A guru is a villain, he keeps on saying things like this to me. No, that is my job. If you are weak, like if you are a hockey player and you are weak in dribbling, I don't know how many of you know dribbling. You take the stick and you do like this and you move. And like even in football, if you are weak in that subject, your trainer is going to train you to, do that thing again and again and again and again and again. And he will point out to you, you are such an idiot, you are such a fool, you should do this. Why? He is not the enemy of this person. He is a teacher. And as a teacher, he is going to point out those things. And if you are weak in some subject, then the subject has to be done over and over and over and over again and again and again till you have overcome that subject. That is why it is important. So, only when you have overcome this mind of yours and you have become still and have equanimity, then you can go somewhere to a place where you can be living in seclusion. You can move to an island if you want. Nobody is inhabiting it. So go to that place. Or maybe you can go to the Himalayas. Maybe you can go to the mountains. You can stay in some place. A log cabin for all you know. Uncle Tom. Stay there. So he says, you have to live in seclusion. The yogi who has controlled his mind and body. If you have not controlled your mind and body, you are not supposed to go anywhere. Stay put. It is when your mind and your body are under control. So let us say you are moving to the Himalayas. Just think. So when you are moving to the Himalayas, immediate thought is, it's going to be very cold over there. Oh, you have thought about it, is it? Sorry. You are not a yogi then. Then you have to stay put. You are not supposed to think who is going to feed me. What clothes am I going to wear? How am I going to stay there? Is there a house over there? Should I stay on a tree like a monkey? Or should I stay in a cave like a bear? All these things have no matter. No, you cannot even think of that. That is why he says, when you have controlled your mind and body only, you can move. And is free from desires of this world. All kinds of desires that are there. I want this, I want that, I want that, I want that. The whole time people have desires. No desire whatsoever. Tranquil. You can't even be thinking, I need to take a blanket. It's a desire. Can you get into this state? And void of possessions. Okay? Oh, I got that very nice chappal or nice shoes, trekking shoes I have got for myself. I'm going to the Himalayas, I will take my trekking shoes. Okay? I can't take my trekking shoes, sir. You are going to the Himalayas. You have to walk barefoot over there. Whether it is snow or whatever, go without shoes. Nobody has the guts. People talk, I want to go here, I've had people who come and telling me all these things, Guruji, I want to go somewhere. Sir, you are incapable. You are a weakling. You can't go anywhere. First, to go away from one place itself is very dangerous. I mean, your mind is not even going to allow it. You can't stay with your relatives for even 10 days and you are thinking that you will go to the Himalayas. Your relatives are going to be bears, wolves and all those people. Okay? There. You can't stay there. No, I will go to a village and I will become a farmer and I will stay over there. You are the biggest nutcase on earth. You are still working about food. You are still thinking, where will I get this thing from? Where will I get that thing from? So going and running away somewhere is not a yogi. It's a bhogi. Bhogi is a person who, bhog means food. The person is interested in food. So, and is free from desires and void of possession, should constantly engage his mind in meditation. And the person has to be sitting in meditation constantly. Ramana Maharshi, he would be completely lost in his meditation. There was no way of him knowing whether it is day, night, this, that, all those things. Yesterday I heard something, or rather saw something. In Japan and China, they have houses. Okay? Houses means a big building or something like that. And in the building, there are cubicles made. These are small cubicles of 8 by 8 or so, or smaller than that. 6 by 6, 8 by 8 feet. Not meters, feet. 6 feet by 6 feet. So they have hundreds of this kind of cubicles. Each cubicle has a camera, has a recording device, and is connected to the internet. And they take contracts from companies and they will keep on showing products after products and keep on doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again, full day. They will talk to customers. They will talk, and everything is so brightly lit and beautiful. Some places they are peddling, the latest of those Barbies and stuff like that. Some places they are peddling some computer products. Some places. So in one building all this thing is going on and it is a contracted job. I mean, think about it. It's an isolated space. One person is isolated from the other by only 6 feet. You are staying with a family. And yet you are so much into your mind space. Mind space where you keep on thinking about small and petty things. A yogi should not be bothered like that. He should be only focused on meditation. That is God. Nothing else. So, you understood this verse. This is all about a person who wants to become a sanyasi, left everything and gone. Only when he has overcome his mind and body and senses, no likes, no dislikes, equanimity of mind, only when he has done that can he leave and go. No possessions, no desires whatsoever. After having no possessions, no desires, then he goes to some one place, sits in meditation over there 24/7. When it is time to eat, he may eat it. When it is time for him to sleep, he may just meditatively sleep. So he is not concerned about things. That kind of a yogi. Does this verse belong to you or does it apply to you? Answer is straight away no. No, nothing. This verse is, Krishna is just telling Arjuna कि those who can overcome their mind, those who can have this kind of a state of being can follow this path. It's a lesson. I'm teaching you about Pluto or Uranus or Milky Way or something like that. You are not anyway not going to go over there. Okay? So don't bother your head about it. It is there for us to know, oh, yeah. It's Pluto is very far, Neptune is like this. Who cares? Just have to know. So know about it. It doesn't affect you because you are from no angle not having desires. You are having 1001 desires. If I just close my eyes and I open my eyes, your 10,000 desires have sprung in front of you. So there is no point in talking. But you got to know the verse, so here we have done it. So now we go to the next one. We are doing chapter 6, verse 11 of the Bhagavad Gita. Okay, having firmly set his seat in a spot which is free from dirt and other impurities, with the sacred kusagas, a deer skin and a cloth spread thereon one upon the other, that is, kusa below, deer skin in the middle, cloth uppermost, neither very high nor very low. So this is a technique. I'm going to touch upon it only for 1 minute, not more than that. So Sri Krishna is saying, if this person is there, this yogi who has overcome all these things, he is not supposed to carry anything with him. These three things he can have. Kusa grass. It's a grass which is grown in the jungles. That kusa grass he can dry it and use it as a mat. Create a mat out of it. By hand only. No thread or anything. Just create a mat. So he can create a mat. Deer skin. Nowadays deer skins are not available. It's a protected species in India and other countries. I don't know about United States, but I think a deer can die in the middle of the road by accident and you can take the deer home. This is what I have heard. So I think maybe you can skin the deer and use that deer skin. I wouldn't advise you, but sounds very gross. And the cloth. Cloth is basically a simple cloth, a cotton cloth. So they have to be arranged in a certain manner so that you can sit on top of it and meditate. So this is the meditation posture. This is the way in which how you can use the stuff around you to sit in meditation. Okay? One small thing over here, let me tell you. Some people, they believe that they have a tiger skin somewhere. Alright? Some people believe they have some deer skin somewhere. Some people have, some people, they're ancients, some grandfather, grandmother, somebody has kept it somewhere. Or they have gone and seen some place where that is available. Alright? Now let me assure you one thing. If somebody has used something, their essence is there in that object. We are not supposed to use it. Got it? So it has to be a clean cloth. It has to be a clean kusa grass, not a mat which somebody has used it. And that is the reason why when they go for yoga, I always tell them, take your mat. Don't go over there and use somebody else's mat. Use your mat. Take a mat, make a roll of it and take it with you. Even for yoga classes or meditation classes. Don't borrow it from somewhere. Second, don't go and ask somebody for a deer skin. Do you have a deer skin? No, don't ask. Don't bother. Because it might be used and it might be somebody has already gone into it and all that. So don't bother. So this is important. Again, a piece of cloth which is cheap. Very cheap. That can be used as a cloth covering. So don't get into all these things. So the next verse. We are doing Bhagavad Gita chapter 6 verse 12. And occupying that seat, concentrating his mind and controlling the functions of the mind and senses, he should practice yoga for self-purification. Person is to occupy the seat. First he has to occupy the seat. So first sit over there. You cannot wear clothes which are country, your town clothes or something like that. You have to wear only cloth which is not stitched. You can't use a cloth which is stitched. Somebody has cut it and made it into a garment. So no garment. It is a plain cloth. Use a plain cloth. See, this is a technique. I know it is not going to appeal to anybody, but by chance you people become sannyasi, then follow this. Okay? Because tomorrow you will say, Guruji, I want to take sannyas. I want to just go to the mountain somewhere and sit. Okay, please go. Colorado is nearby. Arizona, Colorado. I don't know where these places are also on the map, but maybe that's where. Yeah. You ask some other people. For me, the best meditative place is Las Vegas. I'll go over there. Okay, it's a joke. Okay, forget it. So the person is supposed to sit on this seat. So how is the posture? I will tell this to you. The posture has to be maintained. Okay? No details over here, but I will give you an understanding. Our posture has to be maintained in a very, very straight manner. Then you have to concentrate your mind on that, whatever that you think about. There is something which you want to think about. There is one object which you want to think about. Let us say in front of you there is a stone. And you are just going to focus your direction, your concentration is on that. Then you have to control the senses and the mind. Your mind should not be wandering about. I think there is one stone under me. First I have to remove it. I can't sit properly. You can't say that. If there is a stone under you, there is a stone under you. Doesn't matter. Why is your mind coming? I got to straighten this out, Next time when I go to the town, I'll buy a better mat for myself. No. What is there is there. You can't think like this. You can't say, I'm going to get something. No. So that means your mind has to be under terrible control. You have to control it, not let it wander around. Senses should not be wandering about. Suppose you see one snake slithering in front of you. Oh my God, look at that snake. He's going to come and bite me. No. Let the snake do his job. If he wants to come and bite you, why are you concerned? Maybe your death is near, who knows? So like that. Okay? And he should practice yoga for self-purification. The only reason why he is doing this is because he has to practice self-purification. The thing which is the body is very impure. With so many years living in the city, living amongst people, you have become impure. Tendencies are there. So many things are there with the body. You have to get rid of them. Your body has to become like a pure thing. Body, mind and senses. Everything should be literally crystal clear. In our world, the Guru is supposed to be the epitome of purity. When the Guru comes to the house, somebody's house he may go, first you have to wash his feet. Washing the feet of the Guru is very important. Remove all the dirt. Ask him to be in one place. Give him some place to stand. Wash his feet again with pure crystal water or whatever that you want to. That water is collected and used as tirtha. Tirtha means The washing of that feet of the Lord or the Guru. This tirtha is important. It destroys the sins. It destroys the karma. It is something which is so pure. You know, many people, yesterday we were talking about something. Many people have come to me and said, you know, Guruji, you have Sai Baba's Udi, you know, I want a little bit of it. Why? It's an ash from a fireplace. You want that. That is the purificatory mechanism. Some people will come over here and ask Rajma about it and say, can you please give us that tirth bottle? But now when I tell you, it is going to make you feel very pukish. Why? Guruji ka pair ka, you know, from Guruji's feet. Not good. Dirty fellow. No. This is how it is. So when these great masters who are there, even the hair or any body stuff, whatever it might be, is used as a prasad, Udi prasad or prasad. Across the world, there are many monasteries. You know, there are many monasteries. These Buddhist monasteries. These Buddhist monasteries contains a relic. A relic, you understand? A relic means a body part. Either the hair, eyebrows, eyelashes, part of an eye, a tooth, a skin, a bone. It can be anything. These places keep this stuff as a relic. So in most of the very, very great monasteries across the world, like there is a monastery in Japan, so many monasteries in China, many monasteries in India, Hong Kong, Singapore, you know, there are so many. Sri Lanka, there is a place called Kandy. The name of the place is Kandy. The tooth of Buddha is over there. So it is called the Tooth Relic Temple. People pray to that. So the relics of sages and saints are preserved. So if you go to Italy, you go to Rome, you go to some other countries like Greece and all these European nations, or those who have visited me in Goa, or those who have come with me to Chennai. In Chennai, there is a place which is called Mount. You know, Mount Road is there. There is a church on top of the mount. Below there is a church, and on top of the mount there is a church. From the airport you can see. This church on the mountain, has got the relic of all the disciples of Jesus Christ. How holy will be that place? So somebody's eyelashes are there, somebody's portion of the eye is there, somebody's something. So from John to Peter to everybody's is over there. And who was interred over there? Saint Thomas. Saint Thomas was amongst one of those apostles. So Saint Thomas was buried over there. Unfortunately, the Italians came over there, the Europeans, and they exhumed the body and took it with them to their country, saying that this doesn't belong to you. But it is Saint Thomas who first landed after Jesus Christ met his disciples after his coming back. And Saint Thomas is called, He was the guy who always questioned Jesus Christ. Okay. Doubting Thomas is the word we use. Doubting Thomas came from this person called Thomas. So doubting Thomas, so he first landed in Kerala. So there is a church in Kerala. And from there he came to Chennai, St. Thomas on the Mount, Thoma Church they call it. St. Thoma Church, So he went and stayed on the mountain trying to hide himself from the locals. 2000 years ago. But he was killed over there. So he was staying in one cave and he had a small knife with which he carved a cross. He was carving a cross from the wood. And unfortunately, his finger got cut. So the blood fell on the cross. So those who are the believers can even see the blood today. Those who are non-believers who don't give a damn to this, they just visit it because they want to see the aircraft fly from there. They go to the mountain from there, the aircraft takes off, they can see the flights. They don't go for these real things. So this is called the relic which is there. And yeah, so did you understand this? The purification happens like that. So the saints, the sages, the God who is there, the yogi who is there, who sits in one place, he purifies himself. So we have come to the end of verse 12 and we will stop over here.